Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Historical Gamer once again. Well, not really once again. It's been a while since my last video. Sorry about that, guys. I've been a little bit busy with school lately. I'm in a summer class taking managerial economics right now, and it's an accelerated course, so it's only 6 weeks long, which means it's lots and lots of work. But that's not why I'm coming here to you today. I'm coming here to you today to talk about a couple of things. First, I just wanted to mention real quickly the Humble Weekly Bundle put on over at humblebundle.com, which is a website where they bundle together games, and then you can choose to make your purchase go to charity. So there's kind of a default ranking where the developers, the site, and charity gets a certain percentage, and they have different games that they bundle together. In this case, this is the first week that they've actually put together a Slitherine Bundle, so you can actually get Conquest, Medieval Realms, which is a Android game. You can also get Frontline Road to Moscow, which is similar to Frontline Normandy, which I showed off in one of my earlier videos. Battle Academy, which is a game I have not looked at, but was pretty popular, so I'd like to take a look at that. Rise of Prussia, which is an age-odd game. So if you're familiar with those games, if you've seen To End All Wars that I've done previously, it's similar to that, although it's a bit older. So I'd imagine maybe it doesn't quite have all the bells and whistles. Still, it's an age-odd game, I believe running in the same engine. Quadravgia, I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation, an interesting kind of horse racing management sim during the Roman times. Hell, which is kind of a... I'm not really sure what Hell is. I haven't really taken a look at it, but it's basically some kind of fantasy war game. And then the gem, or the creme de la creme of the pack, Close Combat Gateway to Khan, which is what you are looking at here on the screen right now, is a little bit of gameplay from that game. The Close Combat series, gem and true classics of the wargaming series, Gateway to Khan is the newest of the series. It's I believe it's a remake, but with a lot of polish and work done on it to bring it up to par, and certainly well worth it. Now, the way this works is essentially you get to choose your price, so you can put $1 in and get the first 4 games I mentioned: Conquest, Frontline, Battle Academy, and Rise of Prussia. If you put at least $6 in, you get those 4 games in addition to Quadrivia and Hell. And if you put at least $10 in, you get all of the games, including Gateway to Khan. Altogether, the games are retailed on Matrix and Slytherin's website for over $140, but you can get them for as little as $10, with your money, at least a portion of it, going to charity, in addition to the developers and the Humble website. And you can adjust what you want to go where as well, so that's kind of a neat feature from it. The charities involved in this are charity called Charity Water, which basically helps get safe drinking water for people, Doctors Without Borders, and then also they included the Wikimedia Foundation, which is kind of more of an educational focused type group, not a charity in the traditional sense, but again, making, at least the foundation is behind a lot of things, not just Wikipedia, about trying to educate and bring people education. So I just wanted to bring that up because that runs for about another 3 days, and they've already sold over 12,300 units thus far, but figured my viewers would be interested in that because it's a great way to get some really high-quality games. Rise of Prussia and Battle Academy were 2 games I really wanted to look into, just never got around to it, but for this price I couldn't avoid it. And then Gateway to Khan was something I was looking at getting, but kind of holding off for a while. I think that game's over $30 just by itself, so I mean, just $10, and you're already making your money back. But I swear this isn't a paid promotion or anything. I'm not getting told or asked to do this or anything. Just figured that, again, my viewers would enjoy the game, or the games. As far as the rest of what I wanted to talk about, there's just a short little kind of discussion, and I guess more so than what I'm thinking, I was curious what you guys thought of the new Steam refund policy. Basically, Steam has implemented a refund policy on their site for the first time ever, which allows customers who purchase a game to request a full refund on that game. The refund either goes to their Steam wallet or to the type of purchase, you know, so like if you paid with a credit card, theoretically it could go back to that. And what the way the refunds work is essentially if you played a game for less than 2 hours, or if you've played... Oh, first of all, you have to have owned the game for less than 14 days. So if you have the game in your wallet for more than 14 days, you can't refund the game. And then you also can't have played the game for more than 2 hours in order to get a refund. So the idea is, you know, if someone tries it out and it doesn't work on their system, then they can go ahead and they can request a refund, or if the game wasn't as advertised. That's the idea behind it, although I suppose it theoretically allows people to try games out as well and decide whether they like them or not. I was curious what you guys thought about it, because I think there's no doubt it's good for consumers, assuming it's not abused. You know, there's a lot of sometimes advertising that goes into games, especially I think bigger studios tend to get blamed for this more, of just, you know, false advertising. I can't say I personally had any bad experiences where I bought a game and it wasn't what I thought. The Spirit of War game was probably a game that I would have, you know, that certainly wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I would have requested a refund, but that was really the only example I've had on Steam where I purchased a game and had serious buyer's regret. But I think it's an interesting return policy, because Steam really thrives off that impulse buy where you purchase something, you see it's on sale, oh my goodness, it's 60% off, I've got to get that, I got to get it now. So I'm sure there's a lot of purchases that people make impulsively because something's on sale, and then figure, wait a minute, I didn't really want this, or this isn't what I really wanted, and now this offers people an option to refund the games, or, you know, get their money back. Now, theoretically, this is really useful because, you know, it'll encourage developers to make higher quality games that aren't really quick. I've seen some concern from some developers out there who are basically pointing out that some of the indie games that aren't very expensive on Steam could theoretically be played in 2 hours. You know, you might buy a $5 game that has 3 hours of gameplay, and you've already got almost all the money out of the game, and then you go ahead and ask for your money back, and this has the potential to hurt smaller developers more than bigger developers. I actually saw one developer on Twitter saying that they already have 17% of their purchases already were being requested to be refunds, which is astronomical. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know. I'm curious, because a lot of retailers out there for physical goods do have, you know, the ability to go ahead and you purchase it, you have it for up to 15 days, and then you can return it. But then there's other items you purchase that you can't get a refund on. You can't get a refund on a house. Obviously, that's a ginormous purchase, but it's not like you can just go back to the bank and say, just kidding. Same thing for a car. And I think, especially in the case of cars, that's because they lose so much of their value so quickly. You know, you drive off the lot, it's already worth thousands of dollars less, so they're not going to give you a full refund there. In the case of consumer goods, though, that's definitely the case. You know, you buy a phone with most phone carriers, you got 15 days to try it out, or a lot of other retail products. So it's interesting that you could theoretically do this now with a digital product, which wasn't something that was possible before. And I do think it's good for consumers. I wonder what kind of impact it'll have on the industry, though. I wonder, is it going to inspire developers to make better games, higher quality games, because they have to? Because let's face it, whether you like it or not, Steam commands the PC market in terms of games. They are absolutely, by far and away, the largest outlet there. So if they make a change, that sends ripples throughout the entire market. So, you know, is this going to change it and make people make better games? Or is it going to hurt indie developers more than perhaps big studios? You know, is this, if you make a small indie game that doesn't cost very much, should there be different rules for refunding like a $4 or a $5 game that might only have 2 hours of playtime in it? You know, there's some really interesting questions from a business standpoint that I find fascinating, to be honest. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this shapes up. I see a lot of pros as a purchaser. I can also see, again, some potential downsides for a developer that wouldn't be all, you know, oh my goodness, they just want to make as much money as possible. Because anything like this, any kind of change like this, you know, this could theoretically, if this doesn't work out for a developer, cause them to go under. And maybe they make a good game, but it's a short one, and people abuse the system and request a refund despite playing the game. So I think that's really the concern that a lot of small developers have expressed, is just this sort of, you know, wait a minute, this is going to be abused. And at least according to some developers, there's just one, I forget the name on Twitter. I'll see if I can, you know, throw it up there for you guys to see in the description. but basically just talking about how they're concerned this is going to be abused, and there is that risk. You know, retailers, at least theoretically, have the ability to charge a restocking fee to prevent people from just purchasing something, using it, and then returning it. Now, theoretically, the restocking fee is there to prevent someone from basically just abusing the system and protect the retailer from the fact that, well, they sold it, it got returned. You can't really resell it as brand new because it is used, so you've just lost a big chunk of that item's value. Digital goods don't have that same baggage. You can't sell that as, well, the restocking fee is to offset the loss that we have because it's no longer a new good. You could argue it's just to penalize people for returning the good, but that would probably not fly. So, again, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's easy to rush to judgment and say it's great for the consumer, which it is, and therefore it's great for the industry. But I do think it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up, because from everything that I've seen publicly, you know, I don't have access to any kind of additional information. I don't know how Steam communicates to their developers. I wish I was a developer and knew. But everything I've seen, this was kind of a shock for people. You know, Steam just kind of did this and didn't really tell developers what was coming. So a lot of people's livelihoods are on the line, and I think that underscores the risk of having a giant company like Steam absolutely dominate an entire industry. You see my Sherman just get lit up there. But it really kind of underscores the fact that Steam really is close to a monopoly on, not a literal monopoly, because there's certainly alternatives, but they have a huge control over the PC gaming industry, and changes that they make like this can be the life or death of small studios. You know, it's not going to kill EA or anyone like that, but you're a one-stop shop and you rely on Steam, and suddenly, and not even this policy, suddenly they change a policy that, you know, doesn't benefit you, you might be out of a job. So I think it's interesting. Again, I'm not saying in any way it's a bad thing. I think it's really good for consumers. I don't know how it will impact the industry. I hope it makes games better, but I guess time will tell. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in and watching. Check out the Humble Bundle link that's in the description here. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer signing out.